Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline, and today I'm going to talk about some brand new Mandela Effect changes to the famous fuzzy hats guys known as the Queen's Guard in the UK. So there's several new MEs now. I heard one of them about a year ago, and that was from Mandela Effected had mentioned that the hats were lower, and he noticed some other changes in the outfits. I remember the same as him. Originally, I remember the hats coming across the top of the forehead here, not obscuring the vision and not dipping down low in the back. He also remembered the strap being black instead of gold and not as wide. I agreed with him on those, and today I was looking through the Queen's Guard again and found quite a number of additional changes. I think these are fairly new. I looked over it extensively last year for the previous Mandela Effect. Okay, so what has changed? First of all, can the Queen's Guard really not react to people while on duty? Now, this was kind of a famous joke that you could canter about in front of the Queen's Guard, and they were not allowed to react as long as you didn't touch them or pose any serious threat. In fact, there were many articles about how they had to stand for hours at a time, how difficult and exhausting it would be, blah, 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 blah. But that is no longer true. Contrary to popular belief, these soldiers are permitted to move and do so regularly, even when just on guard duty and not on parade, and in certain circumstances do react to hecklers or the like. Okay, so that is no longer true. They do move regularly, at least every 10 minutes. They will turn and patrol their post, which usually involves taking about 10 to 20 paces one way and then back. Occasionally, a guard may also perform such a mark to approach an individual within their vicinity who is being particularly nuisance or the like. But the more common purpose of these little jaunts is usually just to get the blood flowing again, to keep it from pooling too much in their legs, potentially causing the soldier to faint. Okay, so that's quite a bit different than my old timeline, and you will see now that they do respond to hecklers. Now, this one's an interesting one because these guys also appear to be Mandela affected. They remember the old way where you were not allowed to respond, and they are assuming that it has recently changed. But from what I can tell, it's always been that way and in this timeline, and this is just a popular misconception now that they can't move. These guys assume that they remembered correctly and it's recently changed, though. So that's interesting, example of how the Mandela effect sneaks by without notice due to assumptions. Okay, so in this first clip, there is a guy apparently climbing on the fence. So you'll see the response to that.
This guy, there's a guy climbing on the fence. See, yeah, he says.
Get down.
He's pointing his gun at him. That's it. So people assume that you can't.
This guy's kind of making fun of him. And this is something I'd see all the time. People cantering about front. Notice he doesn't even touch him. Used to be you could get away with this in my old timeline, but here he stamps. They do give this guy actually comes over and goes after him because he's making fun of the walk. So these guys are going to run over this idiot here that's in the way. Just recently, I've seen a bunch of these Queen's Guard pushing people out of the way videos. So it seems like the ME is trying to shop these around a little bit. But okay, so as I was looking, I did find another very interesting thing that caught me even more. And so I was mostly trying to look at the hats, and what I saw right away was this. What are these white things? Now, I have scrutinized the heck out of these hats last year, and I'm sure that there were never any weird fuzzy things in them that were white. It was just the black bearskin. That was it. So I kept looking. What are these red things? Never seen those before. All right. What are these blue things? They look like toilet bowl cleaners. Ridiculous. Never saw that before. Some of these shoulder patches also look a little suspicious to me, but I didn't know it well enough. I did know the hats, though. I really knew the hats. Okay, so apparently in this timeline, most of the fuzzy hat guys have what they call plume hackle in their hats, and it designates what regiment they are in. So white plume on the left side of the hat, Grenadier is this guy's, red on the right side, Coldstream Guards. Only the Scots Guards don't have any, but those are not really the ones I would look at. I would usually be looking at the UK Guards, so weird. Blue on the right side, Irish Guards, white and green on the left side, Welsh Guards. All right, now I've looked at a lot of image of these guys last year, and there were no plumes. I really scrutinized that hat because I thought it would change, and I didn't know how. I thought it would be more in the shape or something, but yeah, definitely, absolutely, there were no plumes last year. Another interesting little note I saw here, guardsmen would refer to his headgear as a bearskin, although it is often wrongly referred to as a busby, a small fur hat approximately 8 inches high that is worn by some regiments. I can't swear on this one, but I do remember it being called a busby. Apparently in this timeline, this is just a mistaken assumption. It's not a busby, but some regiments do wear the busby. Okay, so that might be a Mandela. I can't swear to it. This was an interesting image because I think this is supposed to be the white plume here, or just some kind of, I'm not sure what's going on, but white plume on the left side on a lot of the guards. So I think this is supposed to be possibly the Mandela's attempt to put this on, but I'm just not sure on that one. It's a weird smear though, and it just looks weird. Also, I was just kind of looking at the side profile on these. Last time I looked, it was much more of a clean, would come down straight over and then a nice swoop. I'm noticing they're really looking fuzzier now. There's just more of a kind of a wild look to them. They're not as uniform as they used to be between the individual hats. Okay, here's an example of the busby. This is now the busby hat. I'm pretty sure that this is it. Everybody's calling everything busby, but I think this is the short ones, and it's a horse patrol, so they probably can't get away with such a giant hat. Okay, here's another side view. This is a guy that apparently gets the smackdown after heckling this patrol here, but the video is gone, so I can't really verify. But you can see the side here again. It's very fuzzy. It used to just come down and around. Originally for me it was straight across, but it's been like similar to this for about a year. I've just noticed though that it really seems like the fur in front of the eyes is even more accentuated now than it was when I first saw it. Okay, here's a back view. They're just, some of these are looking really weirdly scruffy in the back, like this one. I don't remember them being that kind of different between them. These hats they don't look as orderly as they used to do. All right, here's another example. See, that's just ridiculous. You can't see it all if your hat's like that. I mean, come on. It's just, I don't know how it got like that. Even a lot of the guys walking around have them so low. I mean, they probably can't see past their feet. It makes no sense to be guarding anything with hats like that. So, yeah, a lot of new changes on these guys. I actually remember way back, I remember the black strap going under the chin. That was many years ago. Now it's a gold strap in front of the chin. I did run across the storyline that the reason it's in front of the chin now, supposedly, is that if they get part of the purpose of the hat originally was to obscure the head and make them look taller and more intimidating. They said that if they get shot in the hat area and it misses their hat will flick back. And the purpose of having it on the chin is they were saying if it was on the neck, it would break their neck. Now, I'm not really sure how it's going to help you to have it on the chin, but maybe it would. So the storyline is that's why it's now on the chin in case the hat gets struck. I don't know. It sounds interesting, but, it used to be in my old timeline that chin straps were actually on the chin. So anyway, looks ridiculous to me now, and these hats do keep changing. So anyways, this is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.